concerning the appearance of the fourth blood moon, which was September the 27th. And we were supposed to see what John Hagee called some earth-changing, world-changing events. He said concerning the four blood moons, which began in 2014, and he said that the four blood moons would bring about changes, were to be signs that would, quote, and I sit here and I'm sad to say, because my brain hurts, I sit here early this morning watching the first three of his videos. And then there's another in the quay that says John Hagee and 8 reasons why America may not survive until 2017. And yet, as I have pointed out, how his predictions have failed over and over again, I've had people contact me and say, John Hagee has not said something definite would happen. Ladies and gentlemen, with all due respect, he most assuredly has. Then they tell me, well, he hasn't told us when those things would happen. Yes, he most assuredly has. Look, I watched on my own TV when John Hagee appeared on Benny Hinn's TV program in 1999, and John Hagee said the rapture may occur within the next 6 months. Benny Hinn acted shocked and said, Are you sure? Are we that close? And John Hagee said, we are that close. 1999. And to those who say he hasn't told us when, well, he said twice in the very first lesson in the Four Blood Moon series, these four blood moons would give our generation the sign when all of these things would take place. He said, this is the generation for these things to take place. John Hagee has been wrong repeatedly. And all he does is equivocate after nothing happens and says, well, I never did say, I never predicted, or I didn't do this or I didn't do that, when a point of fact is, he had done precisely that. You cannot say this generation over and over. You cannot say something big is about to happen, which he has said in lessons 1 through 3 over and over, and then claim, I never said that it was or when it was going to happen. Well, when you say this generation, you're saying when it's going to happen. When you say it is about to happen, you're not saying it's going to happen sometime, maybe by and by, sort of, but we think maybe sort of. John Hagee is wrong. And do you realize the fundamental error of John Hagee, Jack Van Impe, Hal Lindsey, Harold Camping? Do you know their fundamental error? Their fundamental error is saying we, this generation, are in the last days. When the Bible writers, when Jesus himself said that the last days were 2,000 years ago, and that the events, the very passages that John Hagee applies to our generation, the inspired writers applied to their generation. Listen, that term, the last days, refers to the last generation of Old Covenant Israel that terminated, that consummated, that ended in AD 70 with the destruction of the temple and Jerusalem.